You are gazing into a literal black mirror. As you stare into the blackness, into the interminable abyss, someone or something stares back into you. Time loses all meaning, and all sense of self is dissolved. You are lost in its depths. The demons possess you through this portal. Welcome back, denizens of Dark City. This installment will continue to examine the implications and moral dilemmas that arise from the technology depicted in Severance and their parallels in Dark City. Once again, come gaze into the black mirror and observe how the insidious technologies of Severance are but reflections of the same in Dark City.
The work is mysterious and important.
In several scenes, severed employees recite Lumen's policy against fraternizing with colleagues.
That's good, that sounds just like me.
I know.
Hey, are you fraternizing too?
What? No, I'm a leader who cares about his employees and takes their requests seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at you, all dewy-mouthed. You never smile at me.
He's right, Mom. You are sparing with the facial encouragements.
That's ridiculous. I smile all the time.
Hey there. What are you all talking about?
This policy seems particularly cruel given that, for all intents and purposes, these employees have no meaningful intimate relationships outside of their prison-like work environments. Their memories to whatever relationships exist outside of this confinement are inaccessible to them, and this means that their only source of intimacy is through their relationships with their fellow Lumen employees. To forbid them to engage in intimate relationships adds a new dimension of hell to their predicament. A similar phenomenon is occurring in the real world, though in a more covert and gradual manner. Humans are social creatures and require healthy, intimate relationships for their emotional well-being. The human neural system evolved within a physical environment that required the attainment of a specific set of interpersonal skills required to foster and maintain these vital relationships. For example, the reading of cues, such as facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and most important, the bodily presence of other humans, were necessary abilities to establish healthy relationships. Neural structures evolved to respond to physical intimacy and proximity, and the emotional, hormonal, and neurochemical systems also evolved to respond to these physical stimuli. The external and internal feedback was necessary to foster this emotional well-being. Much of our interpersonal interactions now occur in absentia. They require no proximity and no intimacy. Physical intimacy is necessary for emotional well-being. We are beginning to lose the art of intimate conversation, how to engage with in real-world situations to respect the basic humanness of others. When the method with which a society communicates changes, the minds and the behaviors of its citizens are inevitably altered as well. A side effect of reliance on social media and technology is that people more easily develop emotional attachment and feelings of intimacy for fictional television characters than with people in their real lives. Society has also become increasingly dependent on social media and virtual platforms for dating and communication. They are being groomed to depend on a technological medium to satisfy their need for social interactions. This reliance begins to significantly alter or even deform the neural substrates and levels of transmitters emitted during these artificial exchanges. Dopamine release is triggered by artificial interactions and not during interactions with people in real-world situations. Subconsciously, they begin to perceive the medium itself as the satisfying stimulus rather than actual physical contact. Thus, they develop an unnatural reliance and a preference for these virtual experiences. Fear of loneliness and exclusion from the group are the common underpinnings of these effective methods of mind control. The removal of physical intimacy from the masses' lives makes them dependent on these alternate platforms for their emotional well-being. This gives the people who control access to these platforms an unprecedented level of control over the meeting of their emotional needs. The threat of losing this medium of intimacy results in the same existential dread as the tactics that exploit people's innate fears of being ostracized from the group if they entertain conspiracy theories that conflict with official narratives. Acclimating the populace to artificially generated realms also conditions people to prepare for increasingly artificial simulated environments, as though their neural systems are being reattuned to survive within a virtual realm. These devices are making us less human. We are being groomed for a life within a virtual reality, being forced to adapt to survival without physical intimacy, our well-being contingent upon relationships within a fictional world, a reality that does not exist, a reality created by an unknown engineer. And once adapted to this environment and dependent on it for emotional well-being, then we are at the mercy of the supplier of this environment to fulfill our emotional needs. A subsequent installment will examine the show's use of symbolism, subliminal messaging, and the predictive programming employed within the narrative. When one learns to speak the language of his rulers, then no secrets can be kept and no clues escape his attention. Keep asking the right questions. Followers of Dark City will come to truly understand the language of the Dark Ones. If we are to free ourselves from the programs that determine our fate, we must first learn the language of our programmers. Stay tuned to Dark City. In the coming weeks, installments will explore in greater depth the use of secret communication, codes, and mind control techniques used to keep us enslaved within the matrix of control. Instances of cryptography, subliminal messaging, foreshadowing, and coded language within film, music, and media will be analyzed with examples, and those who pay attention may discover ways to escape its influence. Like a labyrinth, the Black Mirror is a rabbit hole down which you are forever tumbling and from which you may never return, and your self-image will be remade into whatever form the dwellers within the darkness of the Black Mirror want you to be.
And start asking the right fucking questions.